I want to talk to you about Shopify Payments versus Klarna versus Square. Of course, we are speaking about the Shopify Payment Gateway, or just in general, e-commerce payment gateway. Okay, so here are the considerations I want you to think about when you actually are considering Shopify Payments, Klarna, or Square. There are a few things you need to really think about. I want to first start with Shopify Payments. When you think about Shopify Payments, actually, this is the best way this year if you want to actually get paid real fast with a Shopify store. So when you have a Shopify store, or if you have a brick and mortar store, but you are actually linking it, you're using Shopify POS. Shopify Payments is actually the best. Okay, and this is a payment solution owned by Shopify 100%. So the cool thing is that Shopify Payments actually it's pretty flexible, and it comes with every feature and solution that you will need to efficiently manage and process payments on your website without involving any third-party solutions. So this is kind of cool because it really relieves you of the stress of having to deal with 1,000 third-party apps. Okay, so having an all-in-one solution, an integrated solution, actually is kind of cool. And this is what Shopify Payments actually offers. And this payment method actually provides you as a store owner, you have a free card reader. So this is what I was just telling you a little earlier about the POS, the point of sale system. So you have a free card reader for physical payments. So if you have a brick and mortar store, this card reader can actually help you out. And payments made by customers typically take up to 3 business days before reflecting in your bank account. So 72 hours, that's pretty standard in the industry. I mean, usually it takes like 1 day or 2, but up to three days is not really that bad. Okay. And with Shopify Payments, you are not charged the regular transaction fee of 2.2% that Shopify charges with other third-party payment methods. And this consequently reduces your running cost. It also offers lower credit card transaction fees when you choose to upgrade for, like if you want to upgrade your Shopify subscription plan, then you also can actually benefit from lower credit card transaction fees. And Shopify Payments actually allows you to run your back office if you are a store owner, but also to actually have a better relationship with your customers. And the interface is simple and straightforward. And as for pricing, Shopify does not actually require you to make any additional payments to actually set up Shopify Payments. So things are pretty straightforward. I mean, you get set up real fast. And Shopify will only charge you your regular store subscription fee, card managing fees, and other related fees. So from a pricing point of view, pretty transparent. Let me talk to you a little bit about the pros and cons if you were to actually choose a Shopify Payments this year as a Shopify, let's say, payment gateway. Okay, so what are the pluses here? Well, first of all, you have the reputation of Shopify, right? This is the behemoth when it comes to e-commerce in general. And Shopify Payments does not require any additional transaction fees. So that's kind of cool because this gives you a clear idea about what your cash outflows should be if you were to go with this particular payment gateway. And you have real-time monitoring through Shopify Payments. So that's kind of fun because you don't have that always with other solutions. You have an interface that can be set up and integrated seamlessly. So there's no need, as I said a little earlier, for 1,000 third-party apps. You have features that ensure high security within Shopify Payments. So that's kind of cool. The checkout process, it's pretty quick. It's pretty fast. And when compared to other Shopify payment methods, it really has lower processing fees, especially if you are looking at things from a scalability point of view. In other words, if you have a small store, you can't really see the difference. But when you have, let's say, an average size store or a large store with lots of traffic, then you can see the delta. And the delta in terms of processing fees. When you compare Shopify Payments to, let's say, Stripe or PayPal, for instance, okay? So what are the minuses here when you think about Shopify Payments? Well, it is available right now in a restricted number of countries. So Shopify Payments is not available in as many countries as PayPal is or Stripe is. And Shopify may actually may withhold your money temporarily. So if you are a merchant, having the Shopify actually seize your cash temporarily could be a little problematic. I want to talk to you about Klarna now. So we're also comparing and contrasting Shopify Payments, Klarna, and Square. So I want to talk about Klarna now. When you think about Klarna, Klarna actually started years ago, like a couple of years ago, as a BNPL structure, buy now, pay later. Okay, and so when you look at Klarna, think about an excellent Shopify payment solution that's very simple to use. What does that mean? It means that if you have a Shopify store, if you have an online store built on Shopify, and you are actually trying to reduce your shopping cart abandonment rate, then you can actually offer Klarna as a payment solution, because that really helps you sort of diversify, like make things a lot easier, a lot more easily for your customers. Okay, especially when your customers are really dealing with some liquidity issues, giving this option is pretty good. And what happens here is that Klarna is going to be the one paying you. So this is what it is. And so Klarna actually offers a buy now, pay later structure. And this structure allows you to offer your customers an installment payment option, especially if you sell pricey items. Okay, I mean pricey, but not that pricey though. I mean, if you sell like items like for $1,000, this could be a little complicated. So and that's really good because it really gives you flexibility. It gives you also some kind of scalability. So the thing is that when you are actually thinking about Klarna, you have to look at pricing, but pricing from a transparency point of view. So with regards to pricing, Klarna's pricing plans are pretty simple. So when receiving payments from the United Kingdom or UK or Ireland or even some other select countries, you pay 2.49% plus 20 cents per transaction. And the pricing may be different when receiving payments from anywhere else around the world, but this is pretty standard. Okay. What you love with Klarna is that Klarna is actually trying to simplify things for you. If you are a merchant this year and you're trying to really simplify, let's say your transaction monitoring, you're trying to really have a clear idea about your cash inflows and cash outflows, Klarna really instills a layer of credibility, because Klarna is actually a pretty known brand. So customers are pretty happy. I mean, especially if you are a startup, if you are a new store and you're trying to really increase your validation profile, like you want customers to actually attach credibility to your store. Actually having Klarna as a payment option can really boost your credibility big time, because Klarna, again, is a pretty known brand and has been so for the last 20 years. So what are the pros and cons here? When you think about Klarna, again, we are still having a compare and contrast between Shopify Payments, Klarna, and Square. So when you think about Klarna, you have to think about a payment option that offers a seamless checkout experience. That means what? That means that you are, again, as I said earlier, you are really fighting against shopping cart abandonment, right? So you want to really reduce the rate so that when customers are actually checking out of your store, they are basically they are boosting their sales. They are actually completing the sales. They're not really abandoning their cart. Okay, and you have easy integration with Shopify. So it doesn't matter if you have a Shopify store or a big commerce store or a WooCommerce store or even a big cartel, whatever store you have, you can actually have Klarna integrated, not a problem. But I want to insist on the fact that the integration is pretty seamless with a Shopify store. Okay, and you have overall, when you analyze, let's say Shopify versus Klarna, for instance, you will see that Klarna has a low transaction fees across the board, and Shopify store owners actually receive complete payment at checkout. So this is kind of cool because Klarna has done something very well, something very good to actually boost the completion rates here. So the ability to actually receive complete payment at checkout if you are a Shopify store owner actually boost Klarna's appeal from a Shopify owner's point of view. Okay, and now on the flip side, and this is something that Klarna has actually struggled with since day one. Basically, the company actually has had sluggish customer support since day one. And this is something that we have actually mentioned on many cases, and they haven't actually fixed it like efficiently yet. So this is if you want to go with Klarna, this is kind of cool. They have good prices, whatever, but just expect to have a subpar customer service. Okay, as long as you don't really care about it. I mean, you are good to go, not a problem. But one thing for sure, you want to really be patient because they're not going to get back to you ASAP. But hey, listen, it is what it is. Next, I want to share with you a Square. So we are still speaking about the Shopify payment gateway. And so I spoke to you about Shopify Payments. I spoke about Klarna, and now I'm speaking about Square. Now, when you think about Square, what should you think about? Well, first of all, Shopify Payments solution, when it comes to Shopify Payment solutions, Square is pretty good because Square has been here since day one. By the way, Square has been around for 20 years also. And Square helps you process both online and offline payments. So Square is kind of similar to Shopify Payments in the sense that you have a card reader, you have a POS solution. So this is kind of cool. So if you have a brick and mortar store, you can actually, you can really take care of payments through Square. And so it doesn't matter whether you run an online store or a physical store, Square actually is a reliable payment method to use. And what's more, and that's something that you will love to hear, Square has a number of helpful extensions that can be integrated into your Shopify store so that you are able to get things done seamlessly. You don't have to open like 1,000 windows if you are running your Shopify store or your WooCommerce store, your BigCommerce store, okay? So that's really cool. And so Square also has a dashboard that lets you monitor your transactions, cash flow, and even inventory. So think about it, transactions, cash flow, and even inventory. So this trifecta really constitutes actually the fulcrum of your balance sheet, the fulcrum of your income statement, the fulcrum of your cash flow statements. So cash flow statements, income statements, balance sheet. So we are in essence talking about your financial statements, okay? So if you are a merchant, whether online merchant or offline merchant, you will love this scalability, this granularity that Square actually offers. And so Square actually provides Shopify store owners with different payment structures, and they include donations, membership fees, appointment scheduling fees, and standard transactions. And also the workflow is actually empowered with Square Cash App. So this is kind of cool. And we actually had an entire show focused on Square Cash App. So this is really fantastic. And transactions made using Square as a payment method are completely secured, as Squarely is Square actually is PCI compliant and also uses end-to-end encryption. Okay, and you can also receive payments to your bank account within 1 to 2 days. I mean, that's kind of cool. I mean, Shopify is giving you a maximum of 3 days, and Square is actually limiting that that wait time to 2 days maximum instead of 3 days. And as for pricing, Square charges a standard transaction fee of 2.9% plus 30 cents per transaction. And if you want to get more out of Square, it's actually better to go for the premium plan that actually starts at about $12 per month. $12 per month, you can actually feel all the beauty of Square as a platform. So when you think about Square this year, I mean, what are the pluses? What are the minuses? I mean, one thing for sure, I want you to really remember that Square as a payment method actually is backed up by a pretty well-known company, and the reputation is pretty strong, okay? And it's one of those things where you have to really, at least you have to think about it. And one thing for sure also is that you have to understand that Square is constantly trying to revamp its offer. So this is kind of cool. And one thing for sure also is that if you use Square as your website builder, that could also help you because you are able to save a lot of cash on that front as well. And also, if you want to use Square as your POS reader, that's kind of cool too. So overall, when you think about Square, you have a flat rate pricing system. So flat rate pricing system is kind of cool because it really instills another layer of granularity and simplicity in your pricing. And Square, unlike Klarna, has impressive customer support. And the Square has always made sure that their customer support is impeccable. And so if you care about customer support, if you care about, let's say, talking to someone, if you care about having a professional response, if you care about accountability, then maybe it's just better to go with Square. Okay. So on the flip side, Square is actually not suitable for large businesses. So if you are a large business, if you are transacting several thousands of dollars in terms of revenue, not thousands of dollars, millions of dollars, you see great traffic to your store. Maybe Square is not the proper payment gateway for you. And also, accounts may experience stability issues at some time. So if you're a Shopify store and you are thinking about streamlining your operations, again, Square actually is pretty good. They have great customer service, but they do have sporadic sporadic account issues. So something that you can really that you have to be aware of, especially if you want to outsource everything to Square down the road. One thing I want to say when you think about Shopify payments versus Klarna versus Square is to really have a clear idea of what you are looking for. What are your goals? What are your objectives? What's important for you? Is it revenue? Is it shopping cart abandonment? Is it customer engagement? Is it loyalty management? So you got to really have a clear idea, at least at the back end, of what's important for you before making a choice. So what are the tactics here? When you think about Shopify payments versus Klarna versus Square, it's important to understand that we are speaking here about Shopify payment solution, right? And it doesn't matter whether you go with Shopify payments or Klarna or Square. The bottom line is you want to get paid, right? Because otherwise, why would you have a payment solution that is not really reliable? Because you can access several Shopify payment methods as a store owner, and it's actually crucial that you use a Shopify payment method that provides the best experience for you and your customers. So this is what I was just telling you a little earlier in terms of revenue management. And revenue management is not just you receiving the money, but it's also your customers actually helping you, run a business. In other words, buying from you. So when you run a brick and mortar store, it's kind of easy to charge your customers after each purchase they make. The process differs with an online store. Your customers need a way to make payments for their purchases, one that you can easily access to process your funds. And so this is kind of an important element to think about. Now, one thing for sure is that you have to really understand that when you are going to choose a Shopify payment method, you want to pay attention to a few features. And I've actually collected a few of them for you. Like, think about the customer shopping experience. Whatever payment solution you go for should make life easy for your customers and make their shopping experience a memorable one. Think about the geographical location or of your target market. So the geography plays an important role because certain Shopify payment solutions only work in certain geographic locations. A good example is PayPal. Okay, this means that in choosing a Shopify payment method for your store, you should consider the geographical location, if you will, of your target market. Think also about the transaction fees, right? Because the transaction fees will play an important role, especially when it comes to the credibility here. So the transaction fees charged by Shopify payment providers are an important factor to consider. This is because the transaction fees directly affect your profit margins and the pricing of your products. You want to consider the rate per transaction and the monthly payment that some Shopify payment providers charge, because that's how you can really clarify things on the liquidity point of view. And so that's important. You should also check for other fees like annual fees, settlement fees, chargeback fees, statement fees, anticipation fees, and cancellation fees. You have to consider all of this to know that the actual cost of the payment option you choose is X or Y. Also think about accepted payment cards. So you want to select a Shopify payment option that's compatible with most of the available credit card and debit card providers. So standard cards to look out for include MasterCard, Visa, and American Express. Now, if you want to add Discover, that's fine too. Think about having worldwide availability. okay, and also the availability of fraud detection features. So what is our choice here? Shopify Payments versus Klarna versus Square. Which one should you go for? Our answer is pretty simple. Shopify Payments is the best because when you think about Klarna, Klarna is pretty interesting, but Klarna has a sluggish customer service, and Klarna doesn't really cover doesn't cover high margin products. Okay, Square is kind of cool too, but Square is kind of limited in terms of the geography. So as of now, Shopify Payments seems to be the best when it comes to Shopify payment gateway. Thank you so much. God bless you. I'll see you next time. Until then, remember, stay marvelous.